Hello everyone, this is my Module 2 activity, which relates to the career of a sports engineer. I selected this activity after being directed by Dr. Dietrich to various websites of STEM activities. I found this most interesting as myself and many of my students are involved in sports and avid sports lovers. So the problem that the students would have is how can an athlete's body be protected from impact? Their athlete will be an egg. Students will research protective wear such as helmets and padding of various sports. Then they will use this research and their own creativity to design padding for an egg so it can safely drop without cracking or breaking. Then students will build their safety padding with various materials provided. They will test their padding by dropping the egg from various heights, and after each drop they'll evaluate their design and think of ways to improve the padding. So for my sample activity, these were some images and websites I researched and would recommend to students. Various sports equipment were studied, including a helmet for football, a baseball helmet, and a lacrosse helmet, shin guards, knee pads for volleyball, hockey equipment, and websites of how all of these safety gear is designed. So for my design, I took an egg and wrapped it in cloth, which was then covered with foam that I had already found that was rounded, and two pieces were needed and they had to be banded together. Here's what it would look like overall. Then I wrapped it with cardboard and used duct tape to seal that because most of the protective wear researched had a hard outer shell. Then it was time to test. The first test was from 3 feet, and as you can see here, it was success, no cracks. The second drop was from 5 feet, and after this drop, the egg had shifted, but no cracks, so I had to evaluate and fix this by making the outer shell a little tighter, as well as the banded pads so that the egg could not move so much. Then from 8 feet, there was a bounce, but no cracks or breaks. Finally, from 10 feet, surprisingly even to myself, no cracks or breaks. So for fun, I attempted a final test. And as you can see, I did not tighten it enough and the egg shifted out, but only managed a slight crack in the end. So overall, a success. So the STEM practices that this addressed were definitely in engineering because students had to define a problem of the protective wear and carry out their investigations, which also is connected to science, but this was more engineering because it was a problem that needed solved and they were able to test solutions, make improvements, and alter the different conditions of heights. Also, they obtained, evaluate, and communicated the information of their findings, which is both science and engineering. In technology, they recognized the role that technology played in advancing of science and engineering because they were able to see how science has improved in the different ways of the padding. And in mathematics, they use appropriate tools strategically and attended to precision in covering their egg. The resource I used that was recommended was from teachengineering.org, the Bumps and Bruises activity. However, I slightly adapted it to best fit the needs of my students. Thanks.